Thinking minds, thinking minds, thinking minds, hot spot. Thinking minds, thinking minds, thinking minds, thinking minds, hot spot. Yeah.
West side shit. Know what it is, nigga? Yo, let's get it one time. West side. He French inhaling crack smoke just to numb the pain. Young and tootin' catching grain, but it's the same thing. Same game, different faces, really nothing changed. Buzz zones down the gram, serving everything. I'm a Wolford Ave nigga that's on everything. I took my lick like a man and never told a thing. What you know about hustling in the sleet and rain?
Yo. We back with another episode of Thinking Mind's Hot Spot. Yeah, I appreciate everybody for tapping in, tuning in. If you ain't subscribed and followed yet, then go on do your thing. We got a special guest in the building.
Yeah, what's up? How's everybody doing?
Most definitely, man. So we're going to get right into this thing, man. Who are you and where you from?
I'm an author and entrepreneur. My name is Derrick Simmons. Everybody know me by Lil D.
That's what's up. So a little history. We're going to go in, man, from music to writing books, man. How'd you get started in that?
But shoot, it goes way back, you know what I'm saying, to when I was a youngster. Like my passion with music and writing pretty much like came at the same time. I may have been like 7, 8, 9. My oldest brother, I used to go in his room. He had like the EPMD, the KRS-One Boogie Down Productions posters all over the wall. He used to try to, I don't know if he called himself a DJ or what, but he messed around with it a little bit. And I used to write poetry, short stories. I started writing raps. And then it just like morphed into like other things as I got older. You know what I mean? Like I stayed with it. I continued to do it. It was something that I was always passionate about. You know what I'm saying? Like it was almost like release therapy at times too, because I kept a journal. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And it's crazy because early on, you know if you're gonna be a good writer or not. I can remember in school, the teacher would be like, I need you to write a 1-page report on such and such, and you turn in 10.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that was me. You know what I mean? Like when it came to school, I didn't mind doing the reports because I like to write anyway. You know what I mean? And I've never had a problem expressing myself through the written word. I've never had a problem, you know what I mean, like writing 2 or 3 paragraphs, 2 or 3 pages or whatever, you know what I'm saying, a teacher or someone needed me to write. Like that came easy to me.
Right. And so with the music, so how did the music like start?
Shoot. I mean, I probably like, you know what I'm saying, probably like a lot of youngsters, you know what I'm saying, like listening to hip hop. I thought that I could rap, you know what I'm saying? Like I would watch videos, listen to the radio or whatever, and I thought that I could rap. So I started writing rap songs. And I remember like back in the days, it was like me, Jermaine Overton, Stephen Lightfoot, Anthony Merle, Petey, you know what I'm saying, dude from Franklin, but he lived in Bowling Green for a little while. And we would like just either meet up at my house or over at Petey's house and just go in. You know what I mean? Like just I had a keyboard and we would just, you know what I'm saying, like just go in. And then like later, I started to invest in like more equipment and had like more of, at that time, a decent little studio. Shoot, we would be back in my garage, like just going in, like just all day, you know what I'm saying, like just drinking, smoking, writing, rhyming, you know what I mean? Like I would have, at times I would have females back there in the garage. I'm writing for them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good vibe
I'm writing for them. We doing stuff because I thought I was too short in my younger days. You know what I mean? So I was on that pimp player vibe. You know what I mean? So like everything that I did, it was dirty and it was explicit at that time. Because like that was one of my biggest influences at that time was Too Short. Yeah. You know, that's who I mimicked because I already had like a soft voice. I had like a real chill player vibe about myself. And when I heard Too Short, it was like I felt like that's me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the version of me that that I'm gonna grow into, that I'm gonna become.
Yeah. So what was like the time frame of that? Like when you first jumped in the booth and you was like doing all this, y'all was vibing and rapping and stuff. What was like the time frame of that?
That was like middle school, like maybe like seventh grade, seventh, eighth grade. But even before then, I was rapping, but I hadn't yet like developed a style.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like middle school when I developed that particular style right there.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. So, getting into music, did you release any projects or put anything out?
Yeah, I used to make tapes. Now, like my stuff wasn't advanced. Like I didn't have like you know what I'm saying like a TM Studios type setup.
Yeah, yeah.
So at that time, you know what I'm saying like we listened to tapes, cassettes, and I sold a few at school. I sold a few to the homies on the block. You know what I mean? Like there were some people who rode around listening to the music, but I didn't really take it serious because the equipment that I had, in order for me to record a tape, I literally had to like play the music that I recorded. So if it's a 60-minute tape, I got to sit there and like hit play and record over here.
Yeah.
And then like just let it play and record and then turn both of the tapes over and do the exact same thing. So it took forever to
Yeah.
record the tapes. So it was something that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the time because at the time I was in the streets and I was getting money in the streets. So I wasn't about to sit in the garage, you know what I'm saying, all day recording these tapes that I was only selling for $5.
Right. Yeah. So, from music to writing books. So writing books came way later on. You never wrote books when you was younger.
I never wrote a complete book. I used to always write. Like what a lot of people don't know is that like even before I went to prison, I had like a collection of short stories that I had written, and my plan was to publish them. But by me not like being focused, by not like really having like any goals set or anything, the work just sat in a desk, and I never did anything with it. But I wanted to like write books years before I published my first book.
That's cool. That's cool right there. Because I always wondered, you know what I'm saying, how the process goes, and we're gonna get into that. But you mentioned kind of prison and the streets. So coming from the streets, like how do we turn that into a positive? You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you're past that. So a lot of the stuff that we're talking about the streets is like history, like back then, and now you turned over a new leaf. But even touching on the streets, like how did that go?
Oh yeah, for me, like the transition from where I was into where I am today, that came about while in prison. And it was because really I had enough time to like just sit down and reflect on my life and the decisions I made and the people whose lives were impacted in a negative way because of what I was doing in the streets. So I came to realize that I had really let everybody down and I had let myself down and that I sold myself short because I was running around and acting as if the only thing that I could do that I would ever succeed at was being a dope boy. When the fact of the matter was, it took me years to realize was that I'm good at anything that I set my mind to do. I can do anything that I want to do, and that's honestly how I feel about who I am as a person. I can do anything.
Right.
So for me to go back to the streets, for one, it'll be me selling myself short, and then at the same time, the people, because I used to justify me running the streets and selling dope because I had mouths to feed. You know what I'm saying? I had kids. I was in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like there were a lot of people who looked up to me. You know what I'm saying? There were a lot of bills that I paid outside of my own household. So I felt like by me getting money that I was able to take care of the things that I wanted to do, I needed to do, and that's what being a man was all about, was having the money to give to other people who didn't have it. But it came a point in my life to where I realized that money is not the most important thing.
Most definitely.
To me, the most important thing in this world are the people that's in your life, and the relationships that you have, the people that you care about, whether friends or family. You know, so I mean, it just took a lot of growing up mentally. It took some spiritual evolution. It took a lot of reflection. And it, you know what I'm saying, like it was a process of me like learning more and more about myself, my strengths, my shortcomings, and it was a process of me learning to love myself all over again. because I didn't realize until I was locked up that I suffered from self-esteem issues.
Right.
That a lot of the things that I did back when I was in the streets, it was rooted in me having a poor image of who I was as a person.
Yeah.
Me not, you know what I'm saying, like seeing that that I'm worthy of having a good life, of having people love and respect me for who I am and for how I think.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a lot of soul searching. It was a serious journey that I embarked upon, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah. And the best thing I see is a part of being honest with yourself. When you do time, especially a lot of time when you do it for real bid, you get to do a self inventory of yourself, look at yourself in the mirror, and you only have two paths. You can either, turn this into a positive or continue to go downhill.
Exactly.
I think majority of us coming from the environment that we come from have self-esteem issues, suffer from trauma, depression, anxiety, because in our neighborhood, we use it as paranoid.
Yeah.
That's the word for anxiety. You know what I'm saying? We paranoid all the time. But then when you're not even doing anything wrong, you still paranoid, which is anxiety. You know what I'm saying? So coming from that lifestyle, coming from the streets into prison, actually becoming a man in prison, you know what I'm saying? Because most of us are boys, even though we're grown of age.
Yeah.
We're boys in our mental because we suffering from this self-esteem, all this different stuff, and then we stripped from the jewelry, the cars, and all that. But you still got boys in there that still have self-esteem problems, so they carry around their pictures with them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what it is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real talk. I was 24 when I went in. I was a boy. I was a kid. Like, looking back, now that I'm 43, looking back at me when I was 24, I was, I was really immature. I was selfish. I didn't really think about anybody but me. And although that I used to justify my behavior because of the things that I was doing financially for other people, it was really for me. It was so that other people could say, look what Lil D did for me.
Yeah.
Lil D just came through and blessed me. You know what I mean? Like, I love that because it made me feel good about myself, because I wasn't doing anything at that time that was noteworthy, that was good, that I could feel good about myself from. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the only love that I really received, most of the love that I really received, it came from me being a dope boy, getting money in the streets, and being able to extend my hand to other people.
Right. So would you say prison kind of broke down that box you was in and then opened up your mind to other things?
Exactly. No doubt. It definitely did that. And I say that because, like, there were, like, many nights that I wondered about, like, what people were doing.
Yeah.
And I would honestly, you know what I'm saying, like, be able to answer myself that, like, they're not thinking about me, because if they were, I would receive letters. I would receive some unexpected money, you know what I'm saying, on my books. And that's not to say that, like, there wasn't anyone who didn't care or who didn't look out, because I did have a lot of support while I was in prison and when I came home from prison.
Yeah.
So I want to just set the record straight on that right there. And part of the reason that I'm able to do what I can do, and that I was able to come home and make the moves that I've made so far, has been because of the support that I've had from other people. You know what I'm saying? That I've known from my childhood. But there were a lot of other people in my life, you know what I mean, that when I was out of the picture, they didn't think about me. And then when I came home, because I decided to go another route, they didn't want to be around me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I've had people tell me to my face that you're going to return to the streets, that you're going to go back to selling dope, that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, quit playing with who you are.
Yeah.
So.
Most definitely. Do you think, because I see this as a problem a lot too, is the label of street, you know what I'm saying, or being a street nigga, or being gangster, or this and this. Do you believe that follows you around, or do you use it to your advantage at times?
Yeah, it follows me around, and I use it to my advantage. And I say that it follows me around because like, since I've come home, I've left the game alone. I don't break the law. Um, but yet there are people who have spread rumors that I'm selling dope. Right. That like you know what I'm saying, like I was told, you know what I'm saying, like I was working with a group of men and we were working with some young boys, and there was an issue about whether or not they should have any dealings with me because of my past. Right. And because it was assumed that I'm still currently engaged in those behaviors. You know, so like people, it doesn't matter what you do, there's going to always be those people who see you for who you used to be and for what you used to do and expect you to always return to that person. And the whole the way that I benefit from it, the way that I use it in my favor, like my I don't want to jump the gun, but my latest project is a book called Last Ride, the saga of Bills Billups, Street Nigga. You know what I'm saying? I threw Street Nigga into the title. Right. And like anyone who knows me know that I don't even use the term nigga. Like that's not something that you're gonna ever hear me say, but I use it like in an artistic way though. Yeah. And I decided to use that term street nigga because it's a whole identity that we oftentimes adopt. Right. And when we adopt the identity, we adopt a whole lot of other baggage along with it. You know what I mean? It's like that's what the story is about. A dude who embraced the identity of being a street nigga, and in doing so, all of the baggage that he was trying to get away from, it was hard for him to empty it out because he was embracing a self-destructive, harmful, and honestly dishonest label. Right. You know, so it's something that we got to move away from. But like to be honest, we have to deal with ourselves and other people with where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't expect anyone to treat me how I would treat me or how I would treat them because they're not me. Yeah. So yeah. I don't put expectations on I try not to put expectations on the other people. I allow people to be who they genuinely are, and I deal with them accordingly.
Yeah, yeah. You got to show me who you are, because a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, people will put stigma on you, put a bad name for what you used to do. Oh, he used to be a robber. Don't let him in there. He gonna rob you. And I'm like, he ain't never robbed me. He been in here. You know what I'm saying? So you have to believe in second chances. I tell people to stay woke. You know what I'm saying? You know the energy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When people that I feel of bad energy, you know, I don't know what they could do, but I just know it don't feel right. Your body's gonna tell you if you're awoke enough. And I say awoke far as like not drunk or not high, different stuff like that. You'll be able to feel that energy, no doubt, of if harm is in the building. You know what I'm saying? So I tell a lot of people with the second chances, man, it don't matter what people done did a lot of times, because you got to show me. Let me talk to them and see actually who this person is, and I can determine if I'm going to mess with them or not. You know, it's too much pillow talking, too many guy gossip. You know what I'm saying? Too many guy gossip that goes along with a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? People loosely use the word rat, different things like that. You know, and it's even hard to determine that because paperwork be altered and different stuff like that.
But you know, like where I'm at, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I still deal with a lot of this. Like everybody, when I came home, everybody that I knew were like, because I only associated with like-minded people. Right. So like everyone that I know or used to deal with, they were living the same life. They were dope boys for the most part. Yeah. So I still know a lot of dope boys, and a lot of them done transition. They're family men. They're hardworking. They've made that change, you know what I mean? Right. But still, some of the people that I associate with from time to time, they're still like concerned about the streets. So I be, you know what I'm saying? Like, so people like will come to me and tell me that such and such is hot. Yeah. But I'm like, who cares at the end of the day? Like, I honestly don't care if somebody's a rat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like I'm not in the streets anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if I was in the streets, it would matter to me. But like what I'm doing is I'm selling books and I'm trying to push a soundtrack. You know what I mean? Right. So if a rat wants to buy a book from me, do you think I'm not going to sell it to him because he a rat? Right. You know what I mean? Right. The same way, because like if I start using that criteria right there, then the person who's a child molester, he can't get a book. The person who doesn't take care of his seeds, he can't get a book. Right. Because like to me, like you're the scumbag. You know, like you bring people into this world and you don't even care about them. Right. You make no effort to even support them. You know what I mean? So like, why should I sell you a book?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm not gonna sell the Rattle book, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So I try to like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't too much pay attention to the labels, especially when it has nothing to do with me or what I'm trying to accomplish in this lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Because like for me, like when I look at my future, it's bright. And it's me doing one thing after the other. I have goals, I have plans, and for me to constantly be worried about like what someone else is doing, listening to the gossip about like what's being spread about this person, that person, or whatever, it's a distraction.
Yeah,
And people get hurt.
Yeah.
From gospel. I've seen a lot of things. You know what I mean? I've seen people get hurt because there were false accusations made. I've seen people get hurt because the accusations that were made were actually true, but the dude just was about it. You know what I mean? So I just tend, you know what I'm saying, like I may listen, you know what I'm saying, but like it's not something that I really care to engage in because it's not the life that I live anymore.
Yeah. And it seems like too, as we get older or as we get more away from the streets, we start realizing that communication pretty much can solve a lot of this issues.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Communication and growth. Long as I'm growing, you know, some people say it's changing. Oh, you done changed up type of stuff. No, I'm just growing, bro. You know what I'm saying? So growth and communication really has took a toll on the streets and hurt the streets real bad and the people that's coming from it, you know. But I'm proud of you, you know what I'm saying, because you're a testimony of a person that has came from the streets, that has grown and turned into a man and actually realized, look, all right, I admit to what I've did this, I've did that, but that ain't who I am. A lot of people still got it in their head that they still that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
Most definitely. So we're going to jump into the new book, man, The Last Ride, man. Story of Bill Billups, man. Can you give us a little summary, kind of how that came about and a little summary, a little taste of what's in it?
All right, let me tell you how it came about. Like my writing debut was actually made in 2012. I was still in federal prison at the time. My first book was entitled Message to the Little Homies. Yeah. And it's a book that I wrote because I had just had a phone conversation with my son who was like 14 or 15 or something at the time. And he was telling me that he had started to have sex and that he's smoking weed. So I go back to on my bunk and I'm sitting there and I'm reflecting and I'm like, well, he's not doing the things that I was doing when I was his age because I was doing a whole lot more than just smoking weed and having sex.
Yeah.
But I know what that leads to. And I didn't want him to wind up and be my cellmate one day because I still had a long ways to go. So Message to the Little Homies was a book that I wrote really for my son. You know what I'm saying? I just imagine me having a conversation with a little homie. That's why the book starts, Dear Little Homie. And then I ended up doing a follow-up, Jewels for My Little Sister, which was a similar type book, but it was written for the little sister, the little young, fast girl, the girl who has self-esteem issues, identity issues. You know, so my first books were written pretty much like self-help books. They were like real positive. That were directing young people away from using foul language. They were encouraging young people to change and grow and evolve into like the best versions of themselves. Now, when you look at The Last Ride, it's totally different. It'll be described as a hood novel. Right. Because there's the murder, there's the drug dealing, there's sex scenes in the book, there's a lot of foul language. And I wrestled with writing a book like this because most people who know me as an author, they know me from Message to the Little Homies. Like that's my best-selling book is Message to the Little Homies. So that's what most people know me from. Right. And I know that like writing across genres can hurt authors because like once you develop a following for like one type of writing, people expect you to stay in that lane. Right. But I don't stick to the script. You know what I'm saying? I'm my own man at the end of the day. And I was thinking, I'm like, although I've changed and I've evolved, and although like you're not gonna hear me out on the corner cussing and chasing women and all that stuff right there, I still, when I watch movies, I like movies with sex scenes. I like movies with gun violence. I like movies where there's some betrayal. I like all of those things because I come from that and I can relate to it. That doesn't mean I want to do it, but that's what I like. When I listen to music, I mean, although I like, you know what I'm saying, like groups like Dead Prayers and, you know what I'm saying, the J. Cole's and all of them right there, I still like to listen to Jeezy.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
And
You
see-
know, I like Moneybagg Yo too. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because although the stuff that what it seems like they're glorifying, they're speaking about like real life for a whole bunch of people who I relate to because I was one of them and I am one of them still to this day. I just don't engage in the behaviors anymore. And that's what Last Ride is to me. It's me, you know what I'm saying, like telling a story about a dude named Bills Billups who was from Nashville, Tennessee, but moved to the west side of Bowling Green when he was a youngster. He was like 11 years old when he moved to Bowling Green. And he's really a little square kid for real.
Yeah.
But when he turns 17, he gets involved in the streets. He starts getting high, snorting powder. He becomes a stick-up kid because he realizes that a lot of these dudes that's out here on these streets are soft. So he starts taking stuff from them. And that's how he becomes a dope boy. He ends up going to prison, doing a bid. And in the process of going to prison and doing a bid, he changes before he comes home. Now, what he wanted to do, what his plans were, was to come home and to establish a relationship with his daughter and to be a mentor to the little homies.
Right.
That's what he wanted to do. But the little homies that he tried to talk to, they talked foul back to him. His daughter wanted nothing to do with him because she didn't know him. And I can relate to that because I have a similar situation in my own life. So he finds himself back in the streets. And before you know it, war breaks out. He's beefing with an old, you know what I'm saying, an old associate named Troy. You know what I'm saying? So his body's piling up everywhere. Yeah. You know, and in the process, Bills, he finds love because there's this 24-year-old stripper in the book. She'd been trying to get with Bills from the very beginning. He eventually breaks and he goes and he hollers at her. Yeah. And he pretty much falls in love with her. And she came into his life at a time to where when he was down, he was feeling rejected. He wanted to feel loved.
Yeah.
So he brought her in and she turned him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then Bill's mother, who was really a very spiritual lady, you know what I'm saying? Like this woman, like people who may be interested into like African spirituality, they'll love Bill's mother. Yeah. Because she's a priestess in her own right. You know what I'm saying? So like the offerings and the things that she makes, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll get a good idea of like African spirituality from her character in the book. But she ends up passing, and with her passing, that brings Bills and his daughter, who wanted nothing to do with him, that brings them closer together. So now things are starting to pick up in Bill's life. Him and his daughter, they have a relationship. And now he has a love interest, someone that he actually cares about. But he still has this war going on with Troy. He's wanting to, you know what I'm saying, like to do what he can to squash it. He's ready to like just murk everybody just so that he can just live his life and retire. Yeah. You know, but it's like, is that how it's going to play out? I'm not going to tell the end of the story. That's what the story is about. But there's so many other things that take place throughout the book that I haven't mentioned, that I don't have the time to mention.
It seems like you before you wrote this, did you visualize all of this? Like it seems like more of a script for a movie.
Yeah, and like that's how I write. Like as I was writing it as if I was seeing it on the big screen. Yeah. And honestly, a lot of people who've read the book that reached out to me afterwards, a lot of people told me that this book should be a movie. Yeah. This book should be a movie. I had a girl from right here in BG, Eugenia Greer. I had her proofread the book because, like, that's actually what she does. I had her proofread the book and make some suggestions to me and to, like, try to catch some errors that I may have missed. And she said she's one of the people who said the same thing. Mm-hmm. She's like, you know what I'm saying, like, she could visualize, like, every scene. That the book should definitely be a movie, and I feel exactly the same way. And you know what I'm saying, like that's a goal in time. Yeah. That's a goal in time. But I have another project in mind for the first film.
Yeah. Young Tyler Perry in the making. You know what I'm saying? So how's the business of being an author and releasing books?
Yeah. For me, like there was a lot of trial and error because I published my first book in 2012. I was still in prison. The goal wasn't to make any money. The goal, like, I was just happy to see the actual physical copy of something that I created. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I wasn't even worried about it. And plus, I'm in prison, so I can't promote the book. I can't do book signings or anything like that.
How did you hold on, before we go further, how did you publish it while in prison?
I self published. I sent it to a few different companies, but I was getting rejected. Like people, like companies that I sent it to, they said the publishing companies, they said they actually liked the manuscript, but that I wasn't any good to them because I couldn't help promote. Like so, like when people get a publishing deal, like through a traditional publishing company, you're still expected to help promote the book.
Right.
Like you have to be places. You have to show up at book signings. You know, you have to be able to speak about the book. You have to develop a social media platform. So you have to be involved. It's not that you sign a publishing contract and then the company just goes out and just sells millions of your books for you. You still have to be involved. But I was in prison, and I still had a long ways to go before coming home. So like no one would do it. So you had mentioned turning over a new leaf earlier, right?
Right.
So I created a company. It was called New Leaf Publications. That was the first company I created when I was in prison, and it was my mother who helped me. She did all the paperwork for me. It was called New Leaf Publications, and that's what I first published Message to the Little Homies under was New Leaf Publications.
That's dope.
So when I came home, I changed New Leaf to New Life. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like New Life, you know what I'm saying? Like it sounded better. It was a better fit. And I just like the ring of it more. But it was originally New Leaf Publications.
That's what's up. So after that, you come home and then you release Last Ride, right?
No.
And you release another book?
Yeah, Last Ride is like my 6th, 7th book. I have a few books.
Okay.
I have a few books. I have what's called the Being Real series. So like you see, I got the hat on, redefining real. So I got the Message to the Little Homies is the first book in the Being Real series. It's followed by Jewels for My Little Sister, and then another book called Opposing Sides: The Fight for Black Excellence. And these are all like designed to help young people overcome behavioral and cognitive issues, right? I also have the West Side Stories series, West Side Stories Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1, I wrote the stories in Volume 1. Volume 2 was a couple of the homies that I grew up with, reached out to them. They came through, wrote some short stories. I got another book called Vindicating Pharaoh. I forgot the subtitle of it, but that book right there is like dealing with the historicity of the Exodus narrative. Did the Exodus, as it's told in the Old Testament, did it actually happen as it's stated? I argue no, it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's an example to show you that like I write cross genres. I have like lots of ideas, lots of thoughts, and by me being a writer, I express my thoughts by way of the written word.
Right.
You know? So and then Last Ride is like the latest word.
And so with a lot of these books, I guess it's a learning process because obviously you're by yourself moving this product, getting the product out. So how has that been as far as like traveling, as far as like moving around, doing book signings, social media, everything like that?
Yeah, it's a huge task. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, because like for the most part, it's me. I have a few people that like are part of the team, but like for the most part, it's, you know what I'm saying, like it's me that I have to be present at all of these events. So I do book signings at bookstores. I try to attend as many black book festivals as possible. Like I just came back from Richmond, Virginia. I went to the Richmond African American Book Festival, and Richmond's a beautiful, you know what I'm saying? It's a great spot. I was actually surprised by Richmond. It was my first time there, but like Richmond is actually kind of dope. I can see myself living in Richmond.
That's what's up. I've been to Virginia.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope. But yeah, I mean, like to me, it's like here's the things that I learned, because like I said, like I was under the impression that I had to have like a big group of people behind me in order to be successful, but like I said, it's a lot of trial and error. So here's some basic things that I've learned. One, and it's the most important thing, is that what you first need to have is a vision. You know what I mean? Like you need to actually be able to write to start and complete a project. You have to have because that's your product.
Right.
So you have to be able to start and complete the project. Afterwards, you know what I mean? You need to be able to to move it. But here's the thing: you don't have to sell like thousands upon thousands of copies to make money as a writer, as an independent author. You know what I'm saying? As a self-published author, just look at the numbers. Like, I remember back in the days, I used to rap with Street Made Records, right? I remember one summer, and this is how I got the idea for what I'm doing now. I remember one summer, excuse me for like digressing too. I tend to do that. I tend to do that. But I remember one summer we sold like 3,000 CDs. We were selling CDs $10 a piece, right? But here's the thing. We weren't even trying to sell CDs. Our love was like, wherever I go, I just have a box of CDs with me. And people would be like, hey, Lil D, you got one of them Street Made CDs? Yeah, I got one. So in a summer's time, not even like a full summer, we were able to sell like 3,000 CDs. That's 30 grand.
Right.
That's 30 grand. But we weren't serious about the business because all of us primarily were dope boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I going to be worried about selling a $10 CD when I got, jokers calling me for like half ounces and ounces of crack?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not studying a $10 CD, so I'm not promoting the CD.
Yeah.
So imagine having a product that you do promote and like 3,000 CDs is not a lot of CDs.
Yeah.
So imagine books. Like this book costs $20, but $21.95, $22. Yeah. So how many books do I gotta sell to make $1,000? Yeah. 50 books. Yeah. That's it. What if I sell 5,000 books? And 5,000 books, that's doable for a summer, right?
Yeah.
That's real doable. So 5,000 books, what is that gonna look like? Yeah. You're looking at six figures for 5,000 books. You know what I mean? So I do consultations with like other writers all the time. Like people hit me up, they come on the website or they'll DM me because they have books they're working on and they just want like some advice on like what they should do, how they should move forward. And I always encourage people to save your money. If you don't have the money to do your book and to get your books printed yourself, save your money and do it yourself because you do not have to sell a crazy amount of books to make money. Yeah. All you have to do is sell the books in a reasonably short period of time. Right. If you can do that, then you are going to make a lot of money real fast and you'll be able to see the rewards. Yeah. Then you can take a break.
Especially when you look at it, that's where the gift of the streets come in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because now you're looking at it like street numbers. Mm-hmm. Looking at it like I got to move this amount of books so I can re-up and get more books. Mm-hmm. And so as I get more books, I can invest into the next project and live.
Exactly. Exactly. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my girl Amber's like, she'll tell you, like, cause we sit down, cause like she has probably like a deeper entrepreneurial spirit than I do. Like she's on it all day, every day. I be having to like calm her down sometimes. Yeah. But like, when we have conversations, it doesn't matter what we talking about, whether we talking about like, Forex trading, real estate, whatever we're talking about, I always take it back to the streets. You know what I mean? So like, so that's why I said earlier, like that's a part of me that like I can relate to people because I am them. Because the things that I've learned in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of this stuff, it translates over into like the real world, the business world. You know what I mean? So like that's how I think about books, about business in general. A lot of my knowledge and the way that I move comes from me being in the streets. You know? So There's like one other thing that I want to say too, is that a lot of people got it twisted about like being an entrepreneur. They don't understand, you know what I mean? That like there's times when money is stretched so thin because you've made so many investments. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Bills are paid, you're constantly investing, inventory, whatever else. And it's like there's nothing there. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of times, there's plenty of nights where you're like, dang, if this doesn't work, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? So like the reward is great as long as things work out. But the thing is, it doesn't always work out. So a person has to have like a strong will. A person has to be like really self-driven. Yeah. And these are things like these are traits that I had to but I had to hone because like I said earlier, I had like self-esteem issues. So there was a point in my life to where I felt like I wasn't worthy of having good things happen to me because I didn't feel like I was worthy, that I deserved good things to happen to me. Yeah. So So and honestly, from time to time, like, you know what I'm saying, like I still have like negative thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like negative thoughts will pop up in my mind. Like, D, you want too much, you trying to do too much, that ain't gonna happen. So then I start thinking of excuses as to why things are not gonna happen. This is Bowling Green.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be in LA, New York, Atlanta somewhere, Chicago, you know, and like those thoughts will pop up and as long as you like let them fester, you will sit there and you be like, well, maybe I just need to just abandon my goals, abandon my dreams, and just do what everyone else is doing. Go out to one of these factories and then just be satisfied with that. But guess what? My spirit won't allow me to. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a creative spirit. I love to create things, whether it's literature, whether it's music, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I have that creative spirit, and I'm never going to be happy unless I'm doing the things that I want to do.
Yeah. And then it also relates back to, you said you like taking care of people, different stuff like that. And me and my wife, we was having a conversation about resources. And I was like, look, we here in Bowling Green, we both have two businesses, and there's not enough people to be super successful. You know what I'm saying? Here for our business to strive. We can get busy and do different things, but also we're at the top of the resources for our niche. So just like you in book writing, if you move somewhere to LA where there's millions of book writers or thousands, you know, you could eventually get lost in the sauce.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's a competition going on, this and that. But if you're in a place where you're at the highest resource, you become the top resource. You know, so now the pyramid can trickle down from where you're the teacher, you're the writer, you're the publishing company, you're this. You're going to have to knock down doors. It's going to be a little bit harder. It could be easier in LA. It could be easier in Atlanta because you got people that could reach down and pick you up.
Yeah.
But once you knock down those doors, there's going to be more people that come through, and you might not, you know, because I can't think, it might have been my last interview or so, but I was saying a lot of times the win can come from somewhere else and you still get the win. I heard that out of Lil Kiki book, you know, but if you on the team with LeBron might be the face, but if you pass it to him and y'all win the game, you're a winner too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So if you take, you know, all your experiences and everything you've been in and just say your book don't do what you wanted to do. It didn't go 1 million copies. But you see the talent in somebody else, pick them up and lifted up they book do 1 million copies. You won too.
Exactly. And honestly, like that's how I see it, especially like with the music side of things too, because you know, like with the book, I did a soundtrack.
Right.
The teaser edition of the soundtrack has been released. It's on the streaming platforms right now, but the deluxe edition is still being mixed and mastered right now. We should have it. It's going to have to be done by the 6th anyway, because we have the album release party in Princeton, Kentucky. So J-Ro, I talked to him last night. He said he can have it done by the weekend. But like with the music, what I was getting to, like with the music, like I really have no desire to like be a rapper, a musician, or anything like that. But what I would like to do, because like I was able to like get to work with like some real talented artists, I would love to push them. So like that's what I'm currently doing right now. That's what I'm working on now. Setting up like some interviews at some radio stations, some other platforms, to where I'm going to be pushing the artists who were a part of this project right here. You know what I mean? Yeah, because if like you said, because if they make it and become successful, then that's a win for me too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to be happy just to say that I had something to do with that. I'm genuinely proud because I really don't have a hating bone in my body. Right. I want to see all of us win that make an effort to win. You know what I'm saying? I could care less about a person winning when it was just handed to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for those of us who actually get up and get at it, you know what I'm saying? Like I hope all of us win. You know what I mean? So I agree with you wholeheartedly right there, and that's currently what I'm doing now.
Most definitely. So where's the future? What's the future hold? Last ride and dropped. It's hot in the streets right now. It's hot not only in the streets but everywhere. What's next? What do you see in the future? You said the deluxe coming, but you already writing again? You back in the
I mean, like for I got a follow up for it. I'm just working on the outline right now because there's actually a female who I'm gonna start like signing writers to New Life Publications in the near future. I have one author right now that I'm working with, and we're gonna put her project out. We was hoping to do it by fall, but honestly, it's looking like it's not going to be possible until like maybe spring. You know, and I want her project to be the next project because she has a dope story. I mean, like I'm talking about like when I think about her story, I'm thinking about like Sister Soldier. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like her story is on that level right there. So working with her, I'm looking to bring on a new talent. But besides like the books, movies, like definitely movies. New Life is going to be branching into movies. I have an idea for the first movie. I would love to do Last Ride, but honestly don't have the budget for it because like Last Ride is like too dope of a story to do it half-ass. So if we're gonna do Last Ride, we got to have like some real backing, and you know what I'm saying, like there has to be like some real investors into it. But I do have another story in mind that it's a nice story, but it's not like the chases and the shootouts and so much stuff going on to where you would need like, you know what I'm saying, the budget for it. You know what I mean? Like this other one we'd be able to shoot, and plus it gives us the practice. You know what I'm saying? Like as a company and the people I'm gonna be teaming up with. I mean, about like we've spoken about it. You know what I mean? So but definitely movies, more books, more music.
So anybody listening right now, you know, y'all done heard what the book about. If you got cameras and things like that, y'all want to invest and make this happen, man, tap in and y'all can get this thing rolling faster in the process. Because I would like to watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and like the story is dope, man. Like real talk, the story is dope, and a lot of it is true. Yeah. Like I put in there that it's like it's a work of fiction, but a lot of the stuff is true. You know what I mean? Not just like people from here, you will recognize some of the names of the characters. Right. Like Tremaine, for instance. You know what I'm saying? There's a dude in there named Tremaine who wrote a book from Darkness to Light. Everyone knows that's Tremaine Stewart.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody knows that's him. Big O, Lil D. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's me and Jermaine Overton. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote me and Jermaine Overton into the story. Yeah. But the main character, Bill, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a combination of me and a couple of other people. You know what I mean? And the same thing is true for a couple of the other characters. I incorporate like real life experiences, things that I went through, things that I saw, and then I just add to it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I flip it, I remix it. So it's a true story in many ways, although it's still a work of fiction.
Right. And it could be a TV series even, you know what I'm saying?
Could be. Because like I said, there's a part 2 to it. It's gonna be a Last Ride 2. Yeah. And this one is gonna be dealing with his daughter, the one that he was wanting to rebuild the relationship with. And wait till you hear about her. But this is something for another show. You know what I'm saying? For another time. But wait till you hear about her.
Because every time you drop, we're going to have you on here. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent, if you watching, tap in, man.
No doubt. Do that.
And so where can they find your products, your books, your merch, anything like that?
NewLifePublications.com. NewLifePublications.com. Life is spelled with a Y. Lyfe. That's the only place that you're going to be able to get Last Ride. I'm the source. Yeah. I'm the plug. You have to get it from me.
So Amazon, Walmart, none of them can't get no cut.
None of them.
That's what's up. Audio book? You thinking about an audio book or anything like
that? I done talked to a few people about an audio book. Like Big V, shout out to Big V. He had actually suggested I do an audio book and said he'd love to be involved, possibly as the voice of it. I mean, there's so many things that I want to do that I need to do, and I'm building a team. Honestly, it's only so many hours in a day, and then I'm a family man too. You know what I'm saying? So shortly after I leave here, I'm gonna be going to pick up, you know what I'm saying, the little man. Yeah. So I mean, so I can only do so much. You know what I mean, in a short matter of time. But audio book is definitely something that I'm looking into. Because shoot, I can record that right here at TM Studios. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get that all the way together. and stuff. Yeah, audiobooks are good too. I listen to audiobooks a lot because I don't have time. I need to make more time where I can sit down and read. But a lot of times I'm in the car. So if I'm in the car or taking a highway trip, then I can just throw in the audiobook and just be in my own zone. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Most definitely, man. Well, we appreciate you coming through. Like I said, every time you drop a book, we're going to tap in, you know, kind of get the insight on it, try to get the more exposure to it. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. Go follow Instagram,
Facebook. Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, New Life Publications. I'm not sure if there's any other social media platforms I'm on. I'm really not good at social media. I'm trying to find like a young person to come in and be like a social media engineer because I'm some things I'm just not good at, and I'm honest enough to know that I'm not good at it. You know what I mean? So, but definitely Facebook and Instagram.
We learned when we was out there taking pictures at the books. Most definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, tap in the events coming up. You want to let them know about the events coming up?
Oh yeah, on the 6th of next month, I'm gonna be in Princeton, Kentucky. At
6th of May.
The 6th of May. Yeah, in Princeton, Kentucky. It's gonna be a book signing / album release party at the Game Room in Las Vegas. Great brother named Terrence Hall. I met this brother I was in Atlanta like maybe 2 years ago. Down in Atlanta at an event selling books. The brother comes, he buys a book from me, and we having a conversation. He's like, yo, I got a club. He's like, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy that we're both from Kentucky and we meet up in Atlanta. So he tells me that he has a club, and he's like, man, I like what you're doing. You can use the club anytime you want. So I decided to take him up on it like 2 years later. So I hit him up, and he said, man, the offer still stands, man. Come through and do your thing.
Most definitely. So shout out to Supreme, man. I did a couple shows down there years ago when he first popped it open. He's a good dude, man. He treated us like royalty when we showed up, you know. And so, yeah, shout out to Supreme, man. And he from Nashville, and he was in the movie. It might have been the Kwani Cash movie or the Young Buck movie, either one of those. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's tapped in. He's tapped in, and so he's got some good connects too when it comes to exposure and getting things out. Yeah, shout out to him and anybody else that's supporting too. Shout out to y'all.
No doubt.
And buying the book. Can't get a hold of him, reach out to me and I'll get you. Ride with me. So we appreciate you stopping through, man. With me. Thinking Mindz Hotspot. This is another episode, man. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Get jammed up. Never squeal and ride with me. Ride with me. Ride with me. Ride with me.
Thinking Mindz. Thinking Mindz. Yeah. Thinking Mindz Hotspot. Thinking Mindz. Thinking Mindz. Yeah. Thinking Mindz.